Yeah, I'm live. Okay, cool. Um, I'm using my YouTube Live and not OBS because I'm not sharing anything today. But yeah, just figured I'd do another live because I have been so bad at recording podcast episodes. So you're getting another live stream, but you know what? That's fine. Hi, Jaden. Um, but yeah. Um, Hello, guys, gals, and non binary pals. Welcome back to another podcast episode. 11 p.m.? No, 11 a.m. but, um, but yes. Um, but welcome back to another podcast episode. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with getting diagnosed with autism late in life and how that manifests in my life right now. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get all tongue-tied because I don't know how to speak apparently. But best podcast ever. Thanks, love. But yeah. So okay, let me give context. Best Sarah ever? Yeah, true. Um, but yeah, so let me give context. See, I already can't talk. Best talks ever. We're just naming all of the channel names. Okay. Anyway, or the parts of my channel name. But anyway, so I- I'll go back to like high school because I think that's when this all kind of started. But in high school, I really struggled with making and keeping friends. I mean, even before high school, but it kind of started more in high school. Um, yeah, like I don't know if I told people this story. I know I told my therapist, but it got to the point where I was getting threatened with like getting beat up. Um, because apparently I wasn't liked and they were being fake towards me and I did not know that they were not my real friends. I was calling everyone my friend and my mom was like, "No, not everyone's your friend, you know? You got to be careful." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So my mom picked up on my fake friends before I did. Worst friends ever, yeah. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of like when this all started. Um, Fake friends ever. Are we just adding ever to everything? Okay. I mean, it's fine, but um yeah, so that's that story. And it was at that point that I kind of started thinking that everything ever that something was, I don't want to say wrong cuz just cuz I'm autistic doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me, you know? But yeah, like that was kind of the moment when I was like trying to figure out life, everything everywhere all at once. My parents said that was a really weird movie, so they actually didn't recommend for me to watch that, to be honest. But, I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh, yeah. Uh, see, ADHD. But that's kind of when I started, well, it was my mom that kind of brought up the concern. And then when I was literally about to graduate high school, she tells me that I have this condition um in my brain where, so it's hard to explain, but I'll try my best to explain it. But so there's part of the brain that controls like your fine motor and gross motor, like your muscles. I have holes in that part of my brain. So I've had to have, as a kid, I had to have occupational therapy to, like, work my muscles out better, and yeah, but she told me right when I was about to graduate high school, um, and I was like, "Way to tell me 17 years into my life, but okay." Um, but she was like, "I didn't want you to think that you were different," and I'm like, "No, but I am." That's what it explains so much with why I had to go to occupational therapy and, like, get pulled out of class to go to it and, have, like, grips on my pencils and all that stuff. This is not really related to the autism, but, like, it's kind of related, I guess, because with this particular condition, learning disabilities are a possibility, which I'm giving context to. Um, but yeah, so that was fun for me to find out at 17 years old. Um, and then I go to community college and I'm in a remedial math class because I had always struggled with math growing up. Uh, and uh, I'm starting to kind of think that it might be a math learning disability, specifically dyscalculia, but I've never gotten diagnosed with that, but that's a different story for another time. But yeah, I was in this remedial math class and I was doing well because I it was math that I had already like spent years of my life doing. Um so I wasn't really struggling that much. But I still wanted to get tested for a learning disability just cuz I felt like something wasn't quite right and there was a disconnect somewhere. And then it was at that point that I found out that I have a nonverbal learning disability. So basically, like, if I'm just looking at something, I'm not going to understand what to do. I need the verbal direction as well. So that was um, interesting to find out. Um, all that being said, that kind of leads up to why I decided to get an autism diagnosis because I with all of these factors, plus me not really picking up on social cues and my struggles with friendships and even relationships, to be quite honest, um, they were all adding up to be like, okay, you need to figure out something. And again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with me, but I actually went most of my adult life self-diagnosed with autism. And then I joined a neurodivergent, support group online that is run by a licensed therapist who is also autistic, and she was talking about this company that does, um, autism diagnosis specifically for, female presenting assigned female at birth people. Autism is my superpower, yeah. But I think it was also you had to be above the age of 25, I think was also the other qualification. So I looked into them, and that's who I ended up getting my diagnosis with. They're called Wilderwood. They're based out of New Mexico, but it's a legit program. Just like Joel when he swallows 100 pills all at once. But safer, yeah. Um, so I went onto their website and I signed up for like a evaluation, and then I paid the $500 fee, and then I go on this call and I spent like maybe 3 hours on call with them. And before that, I had to do all these like online tests and write a statement about myself and like my schooling and my life basically, and then I had my best friend write a third party statement, and it's kind of funny because apparently I didn't know that this was a thing, but based on what I wrote, they had said that they could just tell from the way that I was typing that I was autistic. I was like, "Oh, man, okay." Um, so I do all that, and then I do the, like, online tests that they had me do, um, and I looked at the results, and it, like, screamed autism, like, immediately, and I was like, "'Kay. Don't be, uh don't be surprised if they tell you that you're autistic, cause girl, I think you're autistic." Um, and then I get onto the call, um, and I meet with both the husband and the wife. They both do it, but the wife does more of, like, the evaluation side of it, but the husband does the actual testing. Um, so I do, like, a bunch of tests, and it was a lot of, like, true, false, like, type questions or, uh, how much I agree with certain questions, you know? Um, and at the end of it, the wife they both come in and they're talking to me, and the wife is like, "So you are autistic?" And in that moment, I felt all of the emotions because I had a feeling, like, that I was, you know, but hearing it and, like, seeing it on paper, it hits different. It really honestly does. At least for me, I can't speak for everyone else, but yeah. I got off the call and I immediately cried. Like, that's how I was dealing with that. AuDHD is autism and ADHD combined. That's what that is. But, I'll get to that other part in a second. But so that was the moment when I was like, "Okay, this is real," you know, like, um, yeah. I immediately cried after getting off of that call, um, and spent, like, 2 days processing that information, so that was undiagnosed HDCP. Um, that's funny. Um, but yeah, that was that moment. Um, I also forgot to mention my AD when I got my ADHD diagnosis, so I'll do that now, but and then I'll get back to the autism thing. But, that was November, I wanna say? I don't remember the exact month, but I was still working at not the last, childcare job that I was doing, but the one before that, and I knew I was gonna be leaving that job, so I was like, "Let me, you know, use my work insurance as much as I can before I don't have it anymore." Um, so I found this, I was with a psychiatrist, and our first meeting, she was like, "I wanna test you for ADHD." And I was like, "Okay." So I paid this, like, $100 fee for the testing, and then I do 2 tests with her and get diagnosed with ADHD. But apparently, once I switched to my current insurance, everyone's like, "No, it's just anxiety." Like, "Bro, I can't focus on anything for more than 2 seconds. What do you mean it's just anxiety?" Anyway, so, like, I already know I have anxiety, I'm literally on meds for my anxiety and depression, but, like, I know when I have ADHD, and yeah, that was rough. And then I ran out of my medications, and I haven't been able to get it back because I have to get reevaluated because I don't have the proof that I have this diagnosis. So I've just been living life unmedicated, and it's been really freaking difficult. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. But yeah, um, that's that's that. I feel like Ellie saying that, but that's fine. Um, yeah, so that's kind of how that's been manifesting. It's been really hard for me to focus, and I'm in a lot of hyper fixations right now. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, and then with the autism, I saw that comment, I'll get back to you in a second. I'm just like mid thought, and I know if I read, I get distracted. But with the autism, I yeah, so like I said, I cried like right after getting off of that call with it from the diagnosis. And then I spent like 3 days processing it. I kind of isolated, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I even told like the guy that I was dating at the time, um, like, "Hey, I'm about to start this diagnosis process, so if I'm like a little not myself, like just, you know, be mindful." And he was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. Let me know how I can help." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Um, and so then I told him like that I got diagnosed, and he was like, "I'm so proud of you, you know, for doing it." And yeah, but obviously that relationship didn't go anywhere, so now I'm here. But yeah. Um, yeah, and apparently I somehow like changed because apparent one of my I'm gonna use air quotes because I don't consider them friend, but like she had said that since my autism diagnosis that I changed, and I was like, I mean, like I just got big news, like of course I'm gonna change, you know. Um I think it's also important to add, I don't usually use levels because I think levels are like functioning labels for me, and I don't like functioning labels because I feel like it invalidates the struggles that I have, you know? If I'm saying like, "Oh, I'm high functioning autistic," you know? Like, I still have struggles even though I can live life, you know? Like, I still have my struggles, and I feel like using a functioning label kind of minimizes that. At least that's just my opinion. But, but yeah, so I got diagnosed with level 1, which is, like, low it's technically low support needs, but, like, still needing support, um, which has also been kind of difficult when I hear people say, like, "Oh, you're not autistic," because 'cause I'm like, there's no look to autism, you know? Like, just because I'm, again, functioning and living life doesn't mean that I don't have my struggles, so it's kind of invalidating to say that I don't have it because I do, and I mean, I literally have the paper, like, I can send it to you if you need the proof, you know? Um, but yeah. What are your hyperfixations right now? I always wanted to look autistic. Um, hyperfixations right now, um, um, watching true crime, watching your videos and, other gamers, and, also Wicked is a hyperfixation. Those are my hyperfixations right now. Jimmy Snow is also autistic. Yeah, I had a feeling. Um, anyway, but that's my story. And how it manifests right now is I still struggle with social cues, and I struggle with maintaining friendships and relationships. So that's how it's manifesting in my life right now. But yeah. Also, I laugh at like the most awkward times. So that too. But yeah, that's my story. Thanks for coming to my Sarah talk. No. Don't change your laugh. I can't. I've literally tried and it doesn't work. But yeah, I got nothing else to say unless there's other comments or questions or whatever. But I pretty much said what I wanted to say. Major crush on you? Thanks, love. Um, yeah. I don't know what else to say, and I don't wanna just start randomly singing. Cause oh, that's another thing, is I randomly start singing when I'm talking, so that's a thing. Um, yeah, and I quote, TV shows and movies all the time. So, that's another part of me that I'm not gonna change, so if you don't like that, then I'm sorry, but there you go. Um, good podcast, thanks, love. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you're watching this after, then you can leave comments and I'll respond as I see them. But yeah, don't forget to be a good bandicoot because Crash is watching, and see ya in the next episode that would hopefully be an actual video and not a live stream, but we'll see. Anyway, see you guys later.